Hi guys, and welcome back to another episode of the Kevin Moore Show. Now if you want to stay up to date with all my latest videos, just click the subscribe button, as this really helps to support the show. Now if you're new to the show, I interview guests from a spiritual perspective, covering mainstream and alternative subjects, real life inspirational stories, true crime, self-improvement, top facts videos, and much more. Now, on today's show, I'm joined by my guest, Reverend Christopher Macklin. Now, he's a medium and healer originally from the UK who utilizes divine healing techniques cultivated through working with the spirit world to help people recover from many types of illnesses. Now, Christopher is able to heal many people simultaneously with the help of God's angelic light beings who work with Christopher to rebalance people's energy fields, remove blockages and any negative energies. Reverend Christopher Macklin, thank you for joining us.
Oh, thanks for having me, Kevin. Bless you. It's wonderful to be here.
It's great to have you join the Kevin Moore Show, Chris, and you're also from the UK, which is where I'm from. Now, what part of the UK did you used to live in?
Chester. And for anyone who doesn't know that, because I know it's 20 miles from Liverpool, it's in northwest, and 30 miles from Manchester. So, yeah, I was born in Chester.
Yeah, I think I've been there. I've passed through it once or twice maybe, but yeah, well, I know where you're talking about. So, okay, how long have you lived in the US for?
About 12 years now. Yeah. In 2018, I became an American citizen. So now I'm here. God bless America. That's what I say.
Yeah. Well, I might be saying that one day as well. What is it that you do then? I mean, how would you sum yourself up before we get too much back into your journey?
Well, I do a lot of helping. It's helping people to get into really the key instrument. I think nowadays is to get back to your sovereign self. Religion's not working, politics, nothing's working. So I do a lot of healing. We work on about 5,000 to 6,000 people a week. Doing healings, generic groups 3 times a week. Kind of Monday, Thursday, and Saturday. It's by donation. Anyone come on. If you don't have any money, we don't shame people. It's about the healing. We do one-to-one and sort of specialized groups. I do a lot of work with cancers, cystic fibrosis, fibromyalgia, Daphne, if I don't know what's wrong with you. So many different conditions. Most of them are caused by pathogenic infection and also emotion, And one thing I do specialize in is manufactured diseases, which has become the big topic, of course, with this COVID thing. And I produced a book on it. It's Borrelia. When it blows up with the body, it becomes Lyme disease. HIV, which is the stealth pathogen, blows up with the body, becomes AIDS. And then obviously Agent Orange blows with the body. It's in quotes, Agent Orange blown with the body. Morgellons, which is nanotechnology. I've specialized in this for about 14 years, and we do have a solution to it. We have something that can eradicate it from the body. It's a lot of work, but it's based on timeline splitting. So I really focus on that because, people with these diseases get really sick, and for a long, long time, it's progressively worse, damages the brain, it damages all sorts of organs, because of the neurotoxins. So, I really focus on that, and it's having profound effects. I've got doctors who work with me all over the country.
Did I catch you right there? Because you talked about timelines?
Splitting, yeah. The Melchizedek goes back a long way, but Melchizedek beings are kind of here to police time, space, and different things. But and 1 or 2 Melchizedek beings can split your timeline and separate it. So it splits it in 2. So what happens is we split it, put you on a divine timeline, complete wellness, where all the stuff's out of the body, and all the stuff like the HIV/AIDS, Agent Orange, Lyme, Morgellons, whatever it is, splits out on a timeline to the sun, so it gets cleansed. So as time progresses, over about 10 weeks, it separates it out of the body. And then what we do, one thing about manufactured disease is this, people can have HIV, but they don't get AIDS. Why is that? People can have Borrelia, which is like HIV, but it doesn't blow up on the body, so they don't get Lyme disease. Why is that? Well, it depends on your DNA, and the DNA is obviously affecting the whole body, like the autoimmune, everything. If your DNA is robust, you will not get Lyme disease. And so So what we're doing is we then do a DNA change to reset the DNA in the whole body back to the blueprint and repair any chromosomes. And by doing that, you won't get it in the future if you don't, if you obviously don't ingest agrobacter, which damages the DNA in GMO foods or things like vaccines. So it's very interesting. I've got a very good understanding. I've spent a lot of time with it.
Yeah. Okay. So trying to keep up with you. Where is the?
Sorry.
Yeah. Where? No. I'll do my best. But where has this information come from?
Well, a lot of the cause and effect of diseases came over a 4-year period because, just a very quick history. When I was young, about 4, saw entities and saw a negative being. Oh my God, anyway, learned to manage those, and time progressed, became a software engineer for flight control systems and different aircraft systems, Airbus, and anyway, did all that, and then started building houses, and then I built this daft, huge apartment complex way down my league in Manchester, and then 2007, everything went pear-shaped, and suddenly everything collapses, nothing was worth anything, and so the bank gave me 14 days to pay the money back. Hang on a second, I've got £10, will that help? We're talking millions and millions of pounds, so went bankrupt. So what happened is when I went bankrupt, I ended up living out of a car for about 2 or 3 years, staying at different people's houses and, staying in the car. So, kind of semi-homeless, which wasn't pleasant, but it was an experience, and I'm blessed by it because it taught me to not really worry about stuff. And after that, I found I was on unemployment in England, and I stayed in a place for about 3 or 4 years and just meditated, and they showed me cause and effect, and got me to really understand the gifts. And that's the thing, everyone's got gifts. The problem is they want to do them right now. We've got to do them right now. It doesn't work like that. You've got to work with them and understand how they work. They're there, but, well, if it's like having a piano. Well, it's there, but I've got a gift to play the piano, but where do I start? And the answer is, I don't know. So, and they showed me understanding gifts through meditation, through visions. Extraordinary things were happening. Went to Belize, blew everything open, and went all over the world, really. And I loved it. But once I'd understand a big portion of the gifts, then I started, I came here 12 years ago, 2011, we registered the Christopher Macklin Ministries, which is now the Global Enlightenment Project. It's a project of it as a 501c3. That took about 2 years. And ever since, now one thing I would say about doing that sort of thing of spiritual business, they always say, build it, they'll come. Well, they didn't. So I opened an office and nothing happened. I'm sitting there, well, why aren't people coming? Build it, they'll come. They keep saying that, And then one day I said, okay, what's going on? They said, it's within you. Get out there. Oh, okay. So I went, it was funny. I went to a small venue where $100 for a table, little community spiritual gathering. And I was slam busy all weekend. And, oh my goodness, that's crazy, Everywhere I went, slam busy. So it's taught me that, your gifts are in you. It's not necessarily, now we've got a ministry building on 5 acres. We do all that stuff. It's great, but I can do it by Zoom, do it by, people don't come to the office because we do it all over the world. But then, people came to the office and, I used to go out to different places like St. Pete and, speak in churches, unity churches and things like that. So it taught me that you've got to take your gifts out there. You've got to be prepared to travel a lot. And sometimes you get there's only 9 people, but that's okay. There might be only 2 people. That's okay. If you could change those 2 lives, you've changed the whole collective by that little bit, So I never ever got disappointed. And now I just love it, We come in, I do 4 days a week, and, it's such a blessing.
And where is the actual physical ministry based right now?
It's actually just outside Branson, Missouri, in Hollister. It's a little town. It's only about half a mile away from Branson, and it's based there. Like I say, we've got about 10 staff doing stuff and doing all different things. I just do the healing, and everyone else tidies up, does the things because. Truly, when you're doing that level of healing, you don't have even time to breathe. It's crazy, but I love it.
And your website, Christopher, is?
It's globalenlightenmentproject.com. So global and
that's coming up on the screen right now. Sorry to interrupt you there. why did you decide to come to the USA?
I was kind of led here. It was really interesting because when I went bankrupt, I had no money half the time for food and things like this. And somebody in one of the Knights Templar divisions sponsored me to go to Belize because they were building something there. So I went there, and of course, there's no food and it was difficult. But I met this lady from Hollister, just outside Branson, and she was being plagued by a certain division of the Knights Templars, which I saw as Illuminati. So anyway, did some things, it stopped, all the plaguing was stopped. And she said, come and stay in America. Anyway, I stayed, and I realized, having gone around a few little spiritual groups, how open people are here. It's very much more difficult, as you know, in England. People are awakening now, but I think then, they were very closed. Oh, this is just like blah, blah, blah. So that's, and I saw the opportunity, I was really excited to be here. And there's so much space as well, it's amazing.
Yes.
So I moved over here.
And then you met your wife, is that right?
Yeah, I met my wife, and then, we got married 3 years ago, and we opened the Global Enlightenment Project, well, actually it was Christopher Macklin Ministries first, which is the 501c3 instrument. And then we registered a name, a project of that ministry is the Global Enlightenment Project. And we're taking that forward because what we're doing is now we're doing as many healings as possible. To me, it's not about money, it's about people. And as that grows, this year, we're looking at a very, very big project to the Pyramid Project, which is exciting. So we're looking at that 20,000 acres, probably the biggest spiritual project ever done on this planet. And I'm really excited about it. The backing's coming. Yeah, we've got some big banking people who know, and they're assembling the money as we speak. So it'll be there, 3 huge pyramids, and it'll have, they are off-planet instruments, so they'll be appearing here. But we've got to get the land, we've got to have infrastructure. When people come and see them, you've got to give them a drink and some food or whatever, There'll be meditation gardens, there'll be Tai Chi, there'll be crystal shops, there'll be all sorts of things, clonics, you name it, massage therapy. So it's like building a small town. So it's pretty exciting.
It sounds like it. So,
am I in charge of that? Probably not. I just want to do the healing and the pyramids. The rest of it, is all taken care of.
Right. So with the healing, then, that's, I believe, as you said, that's something anyone can join into these healing sessions, and that information is on your website of how they would, connect to a healing session.
Yeah. If they want to join, it's on Zoom. We do it Monday morning, 9 a.m. Like I say, we have between 1,500, 2,000 people. Normally on Zoom, we have 400 people live or something like that, but you can watch it on Facebook, YouTube. We stream it to that. It's Monday, 9 o'clock Central Time, Thursday, 5 p.m. Central Time, and Saturday, 11 a.m. Central Time. We do that 3 times a week. It's by donation. People say, I haven't got any money to donate. Well, don't worry about it. It's okay. We're never going to shame you. Just come on, get yourself healed. And if you can help us donate, because of course, to run this, system costs quite a few $100,000. You have a lot of people shame you when they're Christian or something. Oh, well, Jesus never charged for healing. Well, yeah, but Jesus, first of all, he used to convert water to wine, so you had free wine. Secondly, you had free, accommodation and food, and he used to go from town to town. People gave him transportation, so he didn't need that money. It was a different time. The exchange now is unfortunately the monetary system, which I believe is going to change radically over the next few years. So don't ever shame yourself. Just come on.
Yeah, I mean, you've seen collapses before. You've seen the 2007 collapse, and you've experienced it through bankruptcy as well. And you think about what's going on right now with the economic impact of the major job losses and everything else that we're all going through with the COVID crisis, right, or pandemic. I guess it's like seeing it all happen again, isn't it? But in a different way.
Yeah, it is. I think I think they're trying to collapse the economy for sure because they want control. So they're going to do everything to try it. But you see hatred between Trump, Biden, and different people and all this sort of thing. People are hateful, and my view on it is take a step out of it. Take a step back, love people for where they're at. If they're being hateful, that's their deal. You don't have to engage with it because you're taking that energy in. It's their projection of their own hurting inside, of course, of their own emotions. And so, I had a lady yesterday, and she said, my son, was really hateful because grandma likes Trump and he hates Trump and loves Biden. And he did some things and really upset grandma, wouldn't speak to her. What are you talking about? This is people. Forget it. Politics doesn't matter. What's important is getting back to our sovereign selves. God's got our back. We're okay. We're good to go. And, also find joy. It's not easy to find joy now in this world because you can't go out to a restaurant. You can't do different things. But you can do lots of things like cook yourself or have a glass of wine. It's okay, have some fun, get some people around, play some music, I think it's so important to do the things you love, find some joy in life, because it's easy just to get numbed down and get addicted to getting on YouTube to see the next report about something, or get on Facebook. And, this is all, the problem is with these instruments is they have reptilian energy to them. Luciferian energy. So what they are is very addictive. People get addicted to it so much that they've got their phone in the hand all the time, put it down. It's okay. You can live without it for 4 hours, So I think that's just a really important point because, I see it all the time. Even people close to me, they're just on the phone all the time. Oh my God, So it's kind of crazy.
You talked about having a sort of UFO contact experience in your childhood. Am I right to say that?
Oh yeah, I've had it through my life. I've been on craft. They're very different. It's interesting on craft because they look small when outside. When you get in them, they're like, there's time, space, and it's so expansive. You think, oh my God, this thing's huge. But I've been with Actorians. I remember going to a ranch, and it's really interesting. I'm not saying what ranch it is, but what was happening is the Zeta Greys were coming in and eating his horses, and it was like a sanctuary for horses, and it was just not okay. So I went down for a weekend, and I had to open this portal. I spent about a day and a half. Anyway, we cracked it open, and there was like a sonic boom, and stuff was flowing out. And so what I did is I shut it properly, and it didn't open again, which is good. But there's all this activity going on. But what was interesting, when I opened the portal, we have 3 watchers who always watch us as like protection. The watchers are basically Arcturian craft. So when I opened that portal, immediately the Arcturian craft came about a mile away, and they sat there, and they're going from 3 to 1, 3 to 1. I've actually got pictures of these. And anyway, I was working on 40 minutes. This portal, shut it down. As soon as I shut it down, the Arcturians disappeared. But what was interesting, when they appeared, within 5 minutes, you got the military helicopters going around and saying, oh God, what do we do with these things? You could see it. It was amazing, And, I've talked to beings. I talked to Melchizedek beings. We engage with them a lot. So,
Was there something about the Macklin where it was some sort of negative kind of content, negative connection or something? Or have I got that wrong? Or
no, the Melchizedek beings they're in the Old Testament. They talk about Melchizedek beings were basically, when this third dimension was created, they were involved with the prime creator to police the time space and help it through things. So they come back many times to come back to the planet again to help kind of shift it. Now we've got loads of starseeds. We've got Palladians, Arcturian, you name it. People are being born here just to help the planet shift. So, and there's some jobs, like for example, there's a crystalline structure around the planet. When there's too much kind of angstiness and hatred and anger like there is now, we get it cleared with the Arcturian beings, so they clear it. But we used to clear it like once every 3 months. Now it's being cleared once a week, and it fills up so fast. If you don't clear that thing, you'll find suicide rate will escalate because people feel this overwhelming despair of the collective. So you have to keep clearing this crystalline structure around the planet. So it's very interesting.
Okay, so to try to make sense of this then, going back to childhood then, what did you remember as you grew up, or when you got into this work, that there had been UFO experiences in your childhood, or was that always something that you knew?
Oh yeah, no, I remember them. Even the reptilian. The first time I understood, the reptilians was the age of 4 when one was sitting. It was an Anunnaki thing, a huge thing, dark as anything. Dad, there's a reptilian thing in my bedroom, and of course he comes up. Where, it's there, and he can't see it, and he can't see it. And I've always seen craft. I've seen a lot of things in my life. So yeah, I learned to actually manage the negative beings like the, draconians, Actorians, Anunnaki, of course, and Luciferians, and we take them off people's bodies on a daily basis, because they connect to you. If your vibration is precarious, they will attach to you and they'll affect your abdomen, liver, kidneys. They affect your intestines, and they normally hang on the shoulders. So your shoulders are tight or your neck's tight, and so when you take them off, oh my God, it's a lot better.
Right, that's interesting. So you see people with a lot of attachments then, and you're calling these attachments what you're calling them there, the names that you just mentioned.
Well, I call them fallen souls and angels, yeah. I mean, Jesus talked about demonic entities, but I think he was talking more about the Luciferians, because when you remove Luciferians off someone's body, they kind of get, they're speaking a really snotty, raspy voice, or But the other ones, the Anunnaki and Draconians, they leave, more gracefully. Luciferians don't, but they're fallen angels, fallen angels, so they're all God beings. It's just they're manipulating people.
And they're manipulating them for what reasons?
Well, they want complete control of the planet, so Draconians, they're all working together, Anunnaki, Draconians, and the Luciferians. I mean, obviously, Luciferians are very much part of the Vatican, and this is all one world order stuff. So why do they attach to people? Because they want them to get depressed and commit suicide. So it's like if you're having an Anunnaki, it's like I say, it sits in the abdomen, taps in the lower back, they can send you negative thoughts. Now, it's not your thoughts, but people say, they'll keep sending thoughts, you're useless, that was pathetic, you shouldn't be here, and, how useless, they just do 24/7, and it overwhelms people, So when you remove them, you think, oh my God, my thought patterns are gone.
And what's their agenda for what? Let me get this in my tiny head then. What's their agenda for wanting to do this? What are they feeding off? What are they doing that for then? Maybe you just said it, but I'm not keeping up.
Yeah. They're all connected to the one world order. These guys are in charge. The people down here, the big bankers and whatever, they're just also puppets. The Draconians are way, way stronger and smarter than the human race. So are the Anunnaki. Luciferians have a lot more power. And so what's happening is they're trying to, by attaching, and people don't realize that they're trying to make you sick. And then, of course, you'll take their tablets. If you get, for example, IBS or some issue with your intestines, if you've got a negative entity down here sitting in the abdomen, it's going to paralyze your intestines from the end of the rib cage down. So you eat, you feel blah, you've got gas, and so you take tablets for it. So the whole agenda is to, try and filter as much money out of the human race, but also control them. Because if you lower your vibration, they're dependent on drugs, they're dependent on the government because they get sick and they have to have an employment. There's a whole agenda here.
Okay, what's one of the attachments? Let's just take one. What's the name for one of the attachments?
Well, let's say Draconian.
Draconian. Okay, who is the Draconian? Well, okay, so a Draconian that we can't see in this reality. You're able to sort of sense that something's there, and you would call it a Draconian. Are you saying that that entity is sucking off that person's energy? You're saying it's because of a reason, because they're working on behalf of an agenda? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, they've got an agenda to make people sick, B, reduce the population. And this is the Draconian, if you look at the Draconian covenant or Archon covenants, there's different covenants. They all say the same thing, get them all depressed, make them all sick, get them to take pills, get them in debt, and this whole thing is an agenda. And it's not, people think it's all the bankers. It's not. It's actually a level up from that. It's basically, they're on planet beings, but they can shapeshift in dimensions. So they can come here or they can actually shift out of this dimension. And that includes Draconians, Anunnaki. So,
so from the dimensions that they're coming in from, or they have come from, they weren't here. They weren't there to raise their own vibration. That they wanted to control us in a way.
Yeah, in the fourth dimension, it's a very low vibrational dimension. It's where humanity purge their anger and emotion and things in the fourth dimension. And these things are negative beings stuck in that dimension. And so what they can do is they can shapeshift into this dimension. They can actually take human form. And sometimes if you ever met somebody, you think, wow, you get this really dark feeling about them. The chances are they're shape-shifting Anunnaki or Draconian. And, we have a prayer or map of intent. People don't like the word prayer, and I understand it. It's very Christian, of course. But a map of intent, and you can actually look at this person and, if you say this map of intent over that person, they will start to reform their true form. It's amazing, It really is amazing.
It just amazes me that if that was a possibility, that there were beings from lower density levels or lower evolutions, maybe that's what you want to call it. Why, even if they're from lower evolutions, why would they want to control us for that? For any of those reasons? I guess that just I just can't get that around my head. That's all. Yeah, I'm muttering on there.
Well, they just want to take over the planet, and don't forget, draconians eat kids as well. So they're fed kids. It sounds daft, but some of them are in caverns. I mean, I've seen them. It might sound a bit bizarre, but they are. They're in caverns underneath this planet, and they take children. That's why thousands and thousands of children go missing a year. And this is one of the problems we've got. It's not just because you've got paedophilia. It's not just because, people are trying to mind control them. It's actually because they feed them to the draconians. So, again, it's time to stop all this.
But how would we stop something if something like that was going on? How would you stop that?
It's something to do with the pyramids. The first level is taking care of the people on the planet who are subservient to these creatures. So, and that's being done right now. The second one is, think about this. If you put an instrument down here, a very high vibration instrument that help the planet really shift to a high vibration, these beings cannot exist on a high vibrational planet because it's too high. They'll perish. So the whole point of these instruments is to actually, the second phase is taking care of these off-planet beings.
Of course, we all see the signs of the kids going missing in the Walmarts. The Walmarts throughout the US. I think every Walmart that I've been in, when I've been in quite a few, there's different kids, from different places, just missing, thousands. And I remember looking at those boards sometimes and thinking, what? How can there be so? Because I would have thought that centrally it was the same people advertised on the same boards throughout the US, but they were always different, and unless the cases were always going up. But I don't think it was. I think from different areas it was different people, and yeah. But I mean, to say that they're part of a sacrifice for inner Earth beings, I couldn't go there. Do you know that? I think that I don't know why, but I mean, what makes you so comfortable with coming on a talk show like this to say those things?
Yeah, I think it's because I can see these things, I can remote view stuff, and I think it's important. It might be a bit far-fetched, but that's okay. But you can certainly see there's a massive shift. This planet's in trouble at the worldwide. There's stuff going on. And like I said, I don't get involved with religion. I don't get involved. Everything's been hijacked. And I think the main point is that people have got to feel that it has been hijacked, and it's up to us to start changing it. And you can only change your life. You can start changing the collective by changing your life. It's no use getting all angry about it. And that's probably one of my main teachings: get in your sovereign self. I see what's happening. I do chair the Galactic Federation. We did get rid of the Zeta Greys, and the reason, it's the first time for a long, long time they've taken a species off the planet like the Greys. And the reason is because they were abducting people and stealing eggs and sperm to make their humanoids. And that's not okay. There's a difference, when you come down here, of course, they show you a preview. Oh, this is the planet. Oh my God, it's nuts, because you've got, alien attachments going to attach to you. You've got, craft, you've got things going on in the government. And, of course, you come down and, yeah, let's do it. And then you get down here and think, oh, God, what was I thinking? It was nuts. But, I'm joking because I actually love it down here, but I haven't always loved it. I've been in situations where I thought, what the hell am I here for? Because I don't like this planet. It's really struggling. And I've got no money. I'm broke. I didn't even have money for food. Living out the back of a car, I know what people go through. I really do. Because, people say, oh, well, how do you know? because I've bloody well been there in a car, with no food and stuff. And I think, when you've been there and you realize turning your life around, and why am I comfortable about speaking about this now? Because I think we've got to change it. This planet's going to change for the better, and it's going to start probably in 30, 40, 50 days. We're going to have a shift of the people, the human beings who are trying to be in control because of money. I mean, money is just blah, blah, blah. The politics, everything's going to change. And then I think there's another level after that, the higher levels, which goes beyond the bankers and that, who are going to shift as well. So I think it's just important to clear this up. I mean, the children go missing. It's not just because they're food for these beings. It's actually because they're being mind controlled by the CIA. They're being put in things. And no one wants to go there. These poor kids, I've dealt with them. And I call them Illuminati fallout children. And they're a complete mess because they've been through so much torture. It takes a lot to bring these people back and so they can have a normal life again. And, so it's just important to know it. Don't get upset by it, because we're going to change it, My belief, my philosophy is let's do it. Let's change it as much as we can, and you can do it with the power of maps of intent. One of the things, if anyone's interested again, if you put it out, we have a ceremony on the 13th of February. And what we do is we go through all the factions of things, like anyone in the government who's satanic, anyone in this and Vatican, all over the world, and we go through every single thing, step through it together, and bring them before God, release them to God with unconditional love and forgiveness. It was so powerful last time. And then what we do is reinstate that every day at 3 p.m. Central Time for 120 days. And that's, I believe, helping the planet in a big way.
You advise people to work with frequency and vibration in order to keep their health up. And you say that it's important to keep your vibration high. So what is keeping a vibration high? How does one do that? And what are the benefits of that?
Well, it's things like, neurochemical balance. But one of the things about vibration is the correlation to connection to God and the higher realms, whatever you define as God. I mean, whether it's, Draconian, not Draconian, sorry, Palladians, Arcturians, Sumerians, all these different light beings trying to help us, or whether you connect to Prime Creator of all it is, it's okay. But I think it helps that connection. But in addition to that, if you can get your vibration up, it means you've released enough emotion from this lifetime. Because, be honest, I mean, we're all ingesting tons of emotion every day, and so you get thousands and thousands of layers. So if you can release a lot of that big emotion, you're going to get into a place where you feel so surrendered. Oh my God, life's amazing. And that's why I try and get people back to, because it's easy to engage in this matrix. If you take a step out of it, it's like having humanity in the swimming pool. If they're pooing and weeing in the swimming pool, do you want to dive in there? Probably not. So if you're on the side of it, you can then, once you've got your vibration on, you think, oh my God, I feel incredible. You've released all emotions. You're not triggered. And I'm not triggered. I just lose well with it. I feel sad for it, but am I triggered by it? No. If you love Biden, I don't care. If you love Trump, love Trump. I'm not going to get involved with politics. What I'm going to get involved with is trying to get people back to their sovereign self. And that's like leaping out of bed in the morning and thinking, the other thing I always teach people as well, I think, is that everyone's got a gift, and a gift is something natural. You don't even have to try, but you have to learn it, but it's there, so it's like playing the piano. Some people, at the age of 2, they're playing the piano. Could I play the piano? No. My coordination's not good because of dyslexia, and I'd have to learn it, and it'd probably take me years to even become half decent. But these guys are it's a gift. And so I always encourage people to really focus on their gift, and where love goes, money flows. I've seen it before.
Well, have you seen it before where you actually do enjoy something that you're doing in the daytime and it does actually open up to flow?
Oh gosh, yeah. It just takes a bit, and I think what you got to do is track it. When I first came here, I had no money. I came with 4 boxes, a few cuddly toys for the kids, a few CDs. They were sent from England, nothing. Didn't even have a car. Had no money for food, no nothing. And and I just went on the journey and just believed, and people helped me, of course. Invited for dinner and things, and spoke at churches and got a little bit of money enough, and little by little it took off, and that was 2011. Now the ministry is very busy, 6,000 people a week. Do take loads of money, relative to the amount of staff we've got, and not probably not, but we do okay. There's always enough. And I think that's the key. But you've got to just focus, and if they lead you to do something, you've got to open that door. But first of all, you've got to release the emotion. I mean, when I went bankrupt, I could manifest absolutely nothing. Like, oh, I've got to get some money. No, it didn't happen because I had this feel sorry for myself, and I felt so low. Like really low. It's like the dark night of the soul, though. And I think we've all been there, or we're there now. But I think, once you start getting out of that, you start seeing the joy in just the small things. Because this stuff, in this ministry building, we've got 4,000 square feet, or 5. Who cares? It's just a building. People matter. But, I've got $10,000 of kit here. Well, so what? I bought it because it's streaming and it works. And, Dan, the IT guy, keeps an eye on it because I'm not interested. Can I fix myself? Yeah, but I feed Dan. I feed the accountant. They take care of the accountant. I don't want to do all that. I'm not interested. I just focus on the healing and the joy of doing the healing every day and seeing people change. And I think that's what's important. Spiritual business is a business, even though it's spiritual. Don't do the things you hate. Just focus on the things that just give you joy every day. And I'm living proof, because when I did software, I hated it. I used to go to work. Why am I doing this? And look at the people around me. So many people incompetent managing, and you got to be kidding. And it was just a paycheck every week, and I got paid a lot of money, believe you me. But I didn't enjoy my life. And then suddenly now I'm doing this. It's a passion. I love it. And because I'm worthy, we get the very best equipment, so it always works and it always streams well. And and you come in, you switch your thing on and off you go. You're doing 22 sessions a day, plus about 20 on the specialized groups. That's 40 a day, plus the generic groups. And, we get feedback all the time. Wow, Lyme's gone, cancer's gone, fibromyalgia's disappeared, IBS gone, everything, So it's that's what gives me joy. This stuff doesn't. It's just an instrument to be able to work, with people.
Yeah, I wish I knew how to put into words what you've sort of said there as well. Like, yeah. I haven't got to the place where you've got to, where you've kind of lived your purpose. I mean, I don't know. Am I living my purpose, or are most of us? It's a journey sometimes, isn't it? We don't get there till we're a bit older, maybe. Some of us do it when we're very young, and some of us maybe do it in the middle part of our life, and some of us do it at the latter part.
Oh yeah, mine started at 40, 40-ish, and now I'm 22, and you might not believe it. It's just that metallic silver's in. But you got to find joy in life. That's the biggest thing. Once you start finding joy, then things change around you. And it is hard, because sometimes you get taken off the path and you find something different. Oh, no, this is not it. And then, oh, that's not it. And suddenly, it all comes full force. And once you get on that God, like I say, the God path, where it's your divine gift, then really the doors really start to open. And I'm living proof, Was software my gift? No, hated it, Did I enjoy flight control system? I was interested in them, but I didn't enjoy them because it's all, blah, blah, blah. But this is real stuff, and it's helping people, and I love it.
That's a bit opposite to what you're doing now. The flight control systems of, what were they, 747s? What type of aircraft were they that you was doing the flight control?
No, we did the Eurofighter, and we did the Airbus A320.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Got involved with that and some other ones as well. And, it was interesting, but it's just like, okay, so it's an aircraft, So, now it's kind of, yeah, let's do it.
You help. Okay, so what so part of the journey of what you're doing is getting people to surrender to that greater part of themselves, and I guess I could use the words it's the soul aspect of themselves, and getting people to, what would you say then? If people are connecting to their higher self, then they're able to find the answers that they were always looking for.
Yeah. As you, and that raises your vibration because you've got more joy, and then intuition becomes really strong because you're connected to your higher self, which is obviously in the God realm. And, you can get the answers you need, and you get downloads, and things really start happening. I remember, weird stuff happening. You know, when I started really meditating because that beings, they didn't come. I thought, oh. And I was doing it for 4 weeks, nothing happened. 6 weeks, nothing happened. It took 2 months because what they do, it sounds brutal, really. But if you're a starseed, they're not going to waste their time if you're not going to really focus on your gift. So they see how much you're committed and show up. And sometimes it takes a while, but when it does happen, wow, things really change, you know, crazy stuff happen. And it was brilliant. And you got the downloads and you get the, you know, they talk to you. This is, give you visions. Okay, leukemia, this is how it works. Cancer, this is how it works. You know, this is Morgellons. And I also work with a very evolved lady. She's actually a world leading toxicologist, and it's really interesting because she works with Morgellons. She has done since I started. I've worked with her to really understand the chemistry of it and the biology of it, because you know, if you're going to heal something, you've got to understand how it works first before you do it. And the same with, you know, Lyme, same with HIV/AIDS. And she's very involved. I mean, she's got involved with people who have been poisoned by the CIA, and you know, and in fact, I was poisoned 5 years ago. That's why I had a little lump on my side of my face, and I didn't realise it till about 3 months ago. And I thought, you know, what's this thing? She said, I want to do a toxicology report of your body. She had a look, and there was 3 agents. It's MI6 stuff. It was Torrelia, which is a bacteria. It was a binding agent that binds it to cells, and there was a solvent, a delivery system, and the 3 agents were there. So I was dusted with it and I remember when it happened because I got so sick. I was at Los Angeles, Hilton Los Angeles, and I couldn't get out of bed for about 3 days, and then it stored it in here, so it's all in there. So we're breaking it down. But, you know, it makes you realize that these things happen, you know, because I was shocked when, you got to be kidding, you know, they've dusted me with a weaponized system. She goes, well, yeah, here's the proof. And I've got the proof here. You know, they did a complete laboratory analysis. But, you know, these things people don't realize. And of course, if I died from it, you go to autopsy, they do an autopsy. They're not looking for weaponized. They're just looking for, well, what's the general? Oh, nothing there. Okay. Because they wouldn't even think about looking outside the box. You know? So it's been an interesting life. You know? It really has.
Would you say then that you channel?
Yeah, I do channel. I channel beings and things. I mainly do it for, you know, I channel because they're there for you. So when we're doing healings, I put you in 8 portals and bond it into 27 esoteric Merkaba fields. And then I talk to the Melchizedek beings, you know, about, you know, what's going on with the body. I mainly channel for the body. I also remote view. So it's like having a window in your mind, you know. And they open like a window. Okay, here's the kidneys. You know, have a look at the brain. It's got a tumor on it. Have a look inside the breast. It's got a tumor. And so you got these windows, and they go in and they do stuff. So I can watch them doing things. So it's like remote viewing. It's almost like having windows in your mind. It's strange.
What are the main beings that you channel? Would you say?
Melchizedek being.
It is them.
I only channel. Okay. Yeah. I do channel the Actorians sometimes. I do talk to ancient Palladians like Archangel Michael. But the main ones I channel is, you know, I just talk to because I do it on a daily basis, you know, like 12 hours a day. That's actually why, well, that's why my wife doesn't like drive with me, because when you're in the ethers, you know, you're stuck in there, you're having a great time doing stuff. When you come back here, you kind of feel discombobulated, like, you know, spacey, and it takes about half an hour to an hour to come down from that so you can actually be present. And she commanded I sold my motorcycle because, you know, and she's right, because I'm not actually capable of concentrating enough to ride a motorcycle, because you won't make one mistake, you know, you're dead. So I got rid of my motorcycle, which is sad, but never mind.
You're in a different state of consciousness when you come out of that state of channeling, and unless you're really grounded, yeah, you don't want to have an accident, do you? Do you know what I mean? That's
No.
Yeah.
No.
Not that would have happened, but I mean, yeah, I get it. She's concerned, right?
Yeah, but you've got to be present enough. I mean, driving the car's enough. You know, we've got radar. I bought a car with radar on the front, so it slows itself down. It doesn't hear anybody and all this. So it's got extra safety features, and that's important for me, you know.
Yes, absolutely. What would you say is something important to speak about right now? Because with your work, it's so sort of varied, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? There's a lot to what you do in different parts of it. What would you say is an important part of it?
I would say in this pandemic, in quotes, you know, I mean, people think it's a pandemic. I don't believe it is, but that's okay. You know, people can think what they want. But I think during these times, and people have been locked in so much, people are getting very angsty, suicidal. I mean, I deal with so many people, and they are, you know, if you did it for 3 months, okay, it was bad. But when people have been locked in, especially in the UK, for about a year or 8 months, whatever it is, it's too long. You know, we're beings who need to be amongst people. So I think, you know, one of the things is, you know, I would really advise people getting back to spiritual practice. If you want meditations, you know, there's one for anxiety, you know, that'll really help. It releases this emotion because, you know, people, you know, at the moment, and take a step back, you know, just think, okay, the person's getting hateful because they've got a lot of issues inside of them. It's their stuff. It's not yours. So don't take that on, you know, just love them for who they are. If they try and project on you, say, oh, I'm so sorry you feel like that, bless your heart, and give them a big hug. Well, you can't because of COVID. But, you know, just love them. So I love you, you know, it's okay. You know, don't get riled up by it. You know, I never get riled up at all because, you know, life's too short. I love this planet and I want to help as many people as possible. Me getting all angry and things, well, why would I get angry? I love life, you know.
No, it's so easy to go down that road, you know, from just,
It is, yeah.
you know, bloody road rage to whatever it is that you're getting wound up by, and it's just not worth any of it, you know. It really isn't. You're right. Life's too short. But, you know, we when you're going through it, it's difficult not to react sometimes. Do you know what I mean? But then again,
It is, yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, Kevin, I've been there, you know, and I remember, I remember being in a, well, actually, I remember being in London, and it was Christmas, and I tried to get a job, and you know, just think about this. So you try and get a job. I've been 38 jobs: bar manager, cleaning the toilets, looking after a pool hall, doing something, you know, restaurant manager. Got all these skills, done stuff before. Of course, software. I mean, you know, I didn't even try that, but 38 jobs, not one made an offer. What the heck is this, you know? And I remember I was sitting outside a restaurant. It was Christmas, and people were having their Christmas parties, and I was just there, you know, kind of semi-homeless. And I just burst into tears, and I thought, God, what I'd do just to go to a Christmas party right now with colleagues who I'm working with, and you know, and then I got over myself, think, well, that doesn't matter, you know. And I evolved from that, you know, and now, you know, the ministry Christmas party was great, and I make sure we have one and take everybody, you know, even on massage therapy, everybody, because everyone deserves a celebration for having a, you know, a busy year and everything else. So it's just important, you know, to me. So I'm very keen on, you know, looking after people, you know. And if any of our staff have got issues, I correct them because I don't want people to go through all that stuff I went through. But it is hard when you're going through it.
yeah, well, that's very nice of you to make sure you give back the times that you suffered the most and what you went through the most, and now, you know, you're giving back in ways that have helped heal you from what you went through, which was tough, you know.
Oh, yeah. Well, another thing we did at Christmas is, you know, we phoned the local electric company. It's a cooperative. It's like a non-for-profit. And we pledged so much money. And I said, I want it split up between the people who are really in trouble. And so, you know, I phoned her. She said, yeah, we've spent all the money. She said, but, you know, I want to tell you, you got my department in tears. I said, why is that? She said, well, there's a lady with cancer and she's trying to deliberate. Should I buy food or should I buy my meds or pay the electric? And she didn't, but she couldn't afford 2 out of 3. We bridged the gap and they were just like blown away, you know. So, you know, just, I mean, it's a small thing. It's money, but who cares? You know, it's just money. And that's what I've learned. Money doesn't matter. It's about people, you know, it's about what you do. And, you know, I was so blessed by that. You know, I was just like smiling. Like, yeah, hey, we did it, you know. And, you know, we do help a lot of people.
What do you think, with the divide that's going on in America right now? With that divide, do you see it from a sort of bigger picture perspective, like a spiritual perspective? Because there's so much conspiracy porn out there, and people listening to this may say, well, sounds a little bit conspiritual with the things that have been mentioned, but you haven't gone down that road with everything. How do you balance that with you know, there's so much misinformation out there compared to what you're talking about? How do you balance the two with what's going on right now?
Switch it off. I think the problem is like I said before, this is misinformation. Reptilian agendas have an ideology that what they do is they give you three truths and one huge lie. And so some of these people have been fed three truths and one huge lie. And the problem is if you get to it, it discombobulates it because one person says one thing, one person says the next. Let's be honest, we all know there's a deep state. We all know there's big bankers messing about with this world, and it's not okay. Is it your problem? Well, it's all our problem, but getting angry won't solve it, and that's why I think that's why we do that ceremony. That's why, I just hold the space for people, because the more people you can get in that positive place, the more vibration increases. And, is it really going to hurt you? God's got a plan, and God puts people in place, or prime creator, whatever you would call God, to take care of it. And your part of the plan might be something different than, like somebody in the, like Trump or whatever, their plan is different. So yours really is to stay spiritual, help as many people as possible, whilst God's taking care of the rest of it. This will be, taken care of. I see it, in fact, I know it. It's just going to take a little time because, when you're dealing with a country, you can't just jump in and upset everyone. It'll be turbulent. So you've got to evolve it it's like playing chess about 250 moves ahead, and it's working. I see it. That's the problem with me. I see things that's so blatantly obvious, but other people don't see it. Well, okay, well, whatever. And it's going to right itself, and it's going to right itself big, and I think this whole country is going to change, back to a sovereign nation, and it'll be brilliant, and, like I said, there's plenty of money for everyone. If the country's in debt, it's only in debt to the big bankers, Western Union banks and people like that that's been around for, since the 1700s. And, it's in debt because they made it so. They've engineered it. So don't worry about it. It's all being rebalanced. But, there's no point in getting angry about it. We've got to just hold the space.
There's always guidance around us, isn't there? There's always angelic guidance around us that we can call in, that's there to help us. Would you say?
Oh yeah, I mean, when I was homeless for 4 years, no one could give a shit. Phone my brother, oh, I'm too busy, work for somebody, and it's too busy. And of course, my father's just a crabby old shit, really. And how can I say it? And he just thought I was barking mad. And I had a few people over here. That's why I used to come to America before I came to live here, because the people got me. People in the UK didn't. My ex-wife in the UK didn't. So anyway, so what I used to do is I learned very quickly that people can be fickle. So I learned to rely on the Melchizedek beings. And the reason why I did is they're there 24/7. You can talk to them, and they're there. They'll give you answers. Other people might be in bed or something's happening. So, I learned to rely on them. And, I learned that I could navigate this planet on my own with the help of the Melchizedek beings. But to be honest, Kevin, everyone, I believe, needs somebody, and at least they gave me comfort, Yeah, it's okay. You're going to see, I remember having a reading 20 years ago with this lady, and I went for a reading, and she said, well, you're going to be in America, and you're going to do some spiritual practice thing. It's going to be very successful. I just fell out. What planet are you on, Because I was busy working for Phillips, Marconi, all these people. What planet are you on? Don't be so ridiculous. And you're going to live off donations? Nah, don't be so ridiculous. And well, she was right. Well, thank you, bless her. Because years later, I'm living off donations. I've got a spiritual business, and I love it. But life's a journey, and it really does shift quickly. But you got to, like I say, the nudges. You got to go with them. Open the door.
Well, look at that nudge where she's telling you that this is going to happen, and you sort of, said absolutely no way it is. But
you gotta be kidding.
Yeah. What was that, a nudge, or was that just to say, well, look, this is it's a potential, but you can still. It's up to you to do it, or do you think that was a destiny kind of point where she was seeing something that was destined to happen?
I think she sees destiny points. The thing is about readings, a lot of people are hijacked even with readings. And what happens is, if you, again, three truths, one lie. If readers connect to the reptilians, sometimes they don't realize it, and they'll be talking, oh well, Uncle Bert just died, blah blah blah, and then they'll give them, then suddenly a big lie comes up. Oh well, I can see you going to France, and I can see you buying this house with a pink roof, red doors, and a green, green windows. Oh, okay, and that's kind of the manipulation part, because what they're doing is they're setting you on a journey that you're not supposed to be on. So you'll go to France and you're going to find the house because somebody's painted the house. Oh, here it is. Yeah, she was right. And you're going to buy it. So, but, if readers are really in the angelic beings, and again, I would urge people, if you're a reader, just make sure, if you're talking to beings, ask them, are you of God? They're not allowed to say yes unless they are of God. They can't mention the word God. So very often if they say nothing, they're not of God. Or they'll say, yes, I am of God. Obviously says no, they're not. But, most of the beings like the reptilians and that, if they're connected to people, they won't say anything. If you say, are you of God? You'll get no answer. Oh, okay. So, right, I'm going to send you back to God and get your angelic beings back. They're there to manipulate. They remote view people. And the reason for that is because when reptilians from the fourth dimension, like the Anunnaki, they watch people, you can feel them like watching you, you feel discombobulated in your stomach. You think, what the heck's happening? And that's remote viewing, and people, I've often been to like big classes, like 300 or 400 people. So put your hands up. Anyone who's ever just woken up and felt really discombobulated, as though butterflies in your stomach, it feels like going for an examination that day and you haven't revised. Like 90% of the hands come up. I said, do you know what that is? No. It's remote viewing of, so again, we have a prayer, matter of intent to remove it. So, we've looked at all these aspects to help people get into a grounded state, and there's obviously meditations there that help people. So, yeah, but, the other thing I think about right now is finding something that really blows your pantaloons off and gets you excited. Like, for example, cooking. If you love cooking, do it. I mean, I'm not a chef, but I enjoy cooking, a glass of wine and cooking, or if you love art, or if you love, I found one lady, she said, I've got money, I'm 72, I've got kids, I've got a husband, but I've never found joy in my life. I said, God, I'm so sorry. Anyway, so we did some work on it, and she did some inshallah work, and she found that, wow, she liked crocheting, so she was so excited. So on the next thing, of course, I've got to show everyone, she made a bedspread thing of all these things. And I said, wow, that's beautiful. And the smile on her face, you could see she's finding a joy, so, you just got to find the joy in, and you think it's the smallest things. It's really not. It's the things you really love. So.
Yeah, well, that's it. Well, look, one final question, and sort of going back around the houses as well. What is the most important message of your work, Christopher?
Most important message, please come and get some help. People, it's easy to feel unworthy, sorry for yourself. I've been there. Let me tell you, I got the t-shirt, sorry for myself, and tears, and unworthy, and I'm not going to ask you for anything. But, come and get some help, because people need it right now. And of course, the amount of stress that people are going through, looking at all these things on YouTube, Facebook, I would take a little bit of a step back from it all and know God's got our back if you can. But, it also creates ADD, ADHD, because the neurochemical balance in the brain, the glands that produce GABA, serotonin, dopamine, they get off balance. And because of the pathways, your whole brain gets off balance. And so, again, we do some work on that and the genetic groups to start rebalancing. Because ADD, there's different forms, of course. There's attention deficit where you're just in ethers and, you're not here. But there's also one where you can look at good things and say, wow, that's a beautiful meal right now, and that's amazing. But I remember when, and the attention deficit goes back to a different time when it was awful. Oh my God, but I remember that. And you're getting your dopamine fix from the negative instead of the positive. So these healing sessions we balance all this. So if you don't do anything else, just come on them. If you don't like it, that's okay. And if you do, then, I'm here to help people. That's all. And, look for joy in your life, and also do spiritual practices, whatever you do, yoga or, Tai Chi or anything like that. It really helps.
Well, Christopher, your website one last time is?
Yeah, it's globalenlightenmentproject.com. So I'm right there.
that has been coming up on the screen along with a number of your books as well. Christopher, I just want to say I do appreciate you coming on today, and thank you for allowing me to ask you some of these questions. I appreciate you coming on. Thanks.
No, it's a pleasure. Thanks for having us, Kevin. Bless your heart. And love to you.